Hi, I'm Christian Tyler with the Master Christian Dog Training Academy, and I just exposed my business on BizLinks TV network. Learn more about how we can teach our dogs and people to learn how to communicate with each other coming up on my episode of That's My Biz on BizLinks TV.
That's My Biz is sponsored by Visita Live Site and Constant Contact. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of That's My Biz. I'm Pamela Alexander, your host, and as always, we enjoy bringing to you the wonderful businesses, nonprofits, and associations that we meet when we're out there networking, because we have some great businesses that we run into constantly and build relationships with, and we want you to be able to do the same thing and to reach out to them. We want to remind you that you can watch this episode again at www.bizlinks.tv. You can also make sure you follow us on all of our social media properties, starting with our Facebook page. Make sure that you go out there and like it, give us some comments and feedback for our guests, and then of course you want to move on over to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, give us some thumbs up so that you can get up to date on the most recent episodes that we put out on all of our various shows. And don't forget Instagram and Pinterest and all those other great sites that you'll be able to find us on as well. I want to introduce to you today our guest, Mr. Christian Tyler. Welcome.
Hello.
I'm telling you now, Christian, he is with Master Christian Dog Training Academy. So for all of you all that have pets out there, you want to make sure that you listen up, get your notes, because you're going to learn some stuff today. Because I think he's a little bit different in what he does. And, you know, it's not about just teaching the dog itself. It's about the whole family. The dog's a part of the family. And he talks about the communication between the dog and between the family and the people as well. So I want to dive in first and just ask you, how did you get into this particular industry?
The dog training industry was, it kind of found me. Mm-hmm. I was good with animals. Okay. I've always been good with animals. I've had all different kind of animals when I was a kid. And growing up, I had a need to figure things out that was alive, okay? Like a Rubik's Cube, mm-hmm. I couldn't care less about a Rubik's Cube. Okay. But the workings of why something does the way it does, mm-hmm. because we're always trying to figure out ourselves. Okay. And to figure out why other people, mm-hmm. because we're animals too, mm-hmm. do things, I started figuring out why the animals do things. Okay. Animals do things off instinct. Okay. We use a few instincts, but we use a lot of thought. Mm-hmm. But it's fun dealing with something that can't talk back. You know, it's you can enact on them and help them, and then help people understand how the line of communication works. So building good lines of communication is what it's all about.
I love that. And of course, because we treat our pets, especially our dogs and our cats too, we treat them like, you know, that four-legged family member. So they, you know, we talk to them all the time. Now, we're never sure if they understand what we're saying, but I know what you do is really helping us to kind of bridge that gap. Mm-hmm. So kind of tell me how, first of all, tell me more what sets you apart, and then I'll get into the rest of that.
Well, first and foremost, in a line of communication, mm-hmm. this is what sets me apart. Mm-hmm. Because I tell you what a real line of communication is, and it's not these words we're using. Okay. These words I give about 5%. Okay. Because these words are for us. Mm-hmm. Now, to have a proper line of communication, it's more physical, mm-hmm. and it's more optical. Mm-hmm. It's not just what we say, because the dogs don't understand what we're talking about. Okay. We have to physically show them, and there's ways to show them other than using our voice, because our voice can't show anything with a brain. Mm-hmm. Anything. It doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. I could tell you to do something. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do it. Mm-hmm. So when you're verbally telling your dog to do something and you haven't taught it how to do mm-hmm. what you're telling it to do, how is it supposed to understand? Okay. So then the confusion is not for the dog, mm-hmm. because it doesn't know what you're talking about, so it's not confused. It's mm-hmm. not even listening. Mm-hmm. The confusion is with us, because once we give a command or try to do something, mm-hmm. we get frustrated. Mm-hmm. And the next move is, if the words didn't work, we use louder words. Okay. And then some people become a little handsy and violent and everything, mm-hmm. but that's not how we do it. Okay. We use a positive line of communication. We praise and correct. Mm-hmm. If I was a carpenter, mm-hmm. I would have good tools. Okay. Just like filming, mm-hmm. we have good tools. Mm-hmm. Every trade, everything that you're going to do, you need good tools. Okay. They made tools for the dog. Okay. They're called a collar and a leash. Mm-hmm. When people forget to use those mm-hmm. in the beginning, because you want to lay a good foundation to build a good house, if you don't use the tools in the beginning, then the dog is going to beat you every single time. Even if the dog is conforming to the things you're asking it to do, when it decides to get up and not do it, it's no recourse. You can't enforce your rules or anything. So what I teach people is how to handle the animal that they've captured better. Because not a family member. It's always going to be a cat. It's always going to be a dog. You can love them with all your heart. Human being is us. Because we take tools, we use tools, and we can actually use our imagination and bring it into the world. I haven't seen an animal do that yet. So it's a distinct difference, even though we're the human species of the animal. Distinct difference between humans, cats, dogs, fish, birds, and everything else. So once the people understand that you can enact and deal with this and teach this how to process what you want by building a positive line of communication, then their mind opens up to even how to talk to each other. Because eye contact means more than these words we're saying, because if I talk to you from this direction, am I really talking to you?
Okay. So now this is going in so many interesting directions. I'm trying to decide which one to grab onto first. So now take me through. First of all, so someone has a pet. I know is there a difference in when you first get a pet, especially if it's a puppy, versus when you get a pet that's an older pet that, is it too late because they've already been trained, so to speak, or not even trained, but now they're much older, just like us, where some people are set in their ways? Kind of tell me the difference in the training of the two.
It's never too late, but the difference is puppy is a clean slate. Nobody has made any mistakes. It hasn't been any harm. It doesn't have any reference points to remember, to be afraid of or anything. It's learning everything for the first time. So if you teach it the first time right, then it can carry on its life with these good behaviors that you put in there. And it skips over some of the bad behaviors that it might find when you make mistakes. So the first thing first is to teach the people so they don't make mistakes with the puppies. Now, older dogs, people have made mistakes with. Whether you did something or you didn't do it, the absence of action is a mistake also. And what dogs learn is if they per se got away with it, then nothing was wrong with it, such as the bank robber. So the bank robber robbed the first bank, didn't get caught, and you say, well, they got a lot of money, but what do? They go back and rob the second bank. I heard it, 2 years ago, they had to wait till they robbed 11 banks until they caught them. So you don't want your dog robbing 11 banks because then you have carpet torn up, your wood is chewed up, it's urine and feces on the floor. So you want to catch it at the beginning. Whether it's an older dog or a puppy, there's one way to start with a dog in the house. That's on leash. And that one thing, putting your dog on leash in the house. And on leash has a special meaning too. That means in your hand. So when your dog is out, it's no longer free roaming your home because your home belongs to you. It's walking around with you. So if it makes a mistake, you can fix it. You can teach the dog that you didn't like that. Or if it does something right, you can praise it. But if it's in the other room, you don't know what it's doing, and it's no opportunity to praise. So first you teach the dog, then the dog earns the right to be free, and then you can release the dog. But still, you must watch. And you have to police your area. When I was a kid, I was in Boy Scouts. And police meant to clean up. It meant that we had to go around and make sure the beds were made, make sure the floor was clean, make sure the pot-belly stove was working, everything that needs to be done. Well, in the real world, policing means that red light. So if there's a red light, do you run it? If there's no cars? If the police wasn't there, if you didn't think the police would come get you, would you stop and stay at that red light until it turned? You wouldn't. So what we have to do with the dogs, we got to keep up better with them. That means we have to get up off the couch and stop using our voice because our voice is not action.
So now what about people when they get pets that put them in the pens when they're not at home? So kind of tell me your thoughts on that.
So crate training is one way that you can do things. It's a good way, but people have been using the crates wrong. They've been using them to punish And first and foremost, I told you captured an animal. There can't be any punishment to an animal you capture because it can't do anything wrong. It's just being a dog. So to use the crate as a punishment, you're making the dog feel a certain kind of way, and you're making that a negative place. What you want to do is use the crate as a positive place. You want to put the toys in it. You want to praise the dog when it goes in it. You want to make it a fun place to be. So when you do have to leave and you don't want your house ransacked by this irresponsible animal that's in it, you're able to say, hey, load up. And the dog goes in the crate, and the dog is happy. You're happy. You come home to a clean house. If you weren't on a good restroom schedule and the dog used the bathroom, you can clean it up. Even to the point where you could give the dog a bath and put it back up, or take it out however you want to do. But control is what I teach. Control of yourself first. Then with this machine, you can enact control on other things. It's just what you want to do. You have to pay attention first to what the dog is giving you, and then you can make changes. Create good change. It's real good change.
I hope you all got some good notes on there for those of you all that have pets and have dogs specifically. Now, so let me ask, when is the point, what's the best time for them to actually come to a dog training academy or to get their dog trained?
The best time for dog training is when you can't handle the dog. So if it's an 8-week-old puppy and it's getting away from you and it's getting on your nerves and you're becoming frustrated and you can't get it to sit, or it's pulling you around, or if it's a 10-year-old dog that's been doing it all his life, you want to make some changes for the benefit of the dog, because the dog is living in a state of chaos. You can see it if you watch. When the untrained dog comes out, it's all over the place. It's overstimulated. All the smells, the sounds, the sights, everything that's going on in its environment is overstimulating it. So you want your dog to be able to come out and see everything. Not see everything, but actually see everything. Because when it can see everything, it's going to see you. Most people, dogs are out in front of them, pulling them where they want to go. How do they know where you're going? And you never get any eye contact. And without any eye contact, I tell you, you have no line of communication. Even if I see a fish and we look each other in the eye, we acknowledge we exist. Birds and everything else, even the bugs. Little red ant will tell you, touch me and I get you. So people, we work on a lot of verbal things that take away from the real way to get to something. And I bring them back to, hey, dog got to look at you. When it does, tell it good boy, tell it good girl. Let it know that you appreciate that look and love it up then. We also give away our power, because people, therapeutically, they want to stroke the dog. They want to stroke the dog. Stroking the dog is something that the dog may enjoy. But if you give it to them and they don't work for it, then what do you have to praise them with? Some people say treats. Treats are food. You don't want to keep giving something food for doing things for you. You want to let it know that you are the treat. So what I teach is become the treat. Become the most wanted thing by your dog. You have to be the object of their desire. And you can't do that in a negative way. Because if you do it negatively, you make the animal afraid of you. Now they're coming out of fear. You want them to come because you're the best thing that ever happened. And people walk around and act like they're the best thing that ever happened. So prove it. Get up off the couch and do it.
Wow, I love that. Y'all, we are going to come back and we're going to talk about the training, the academy itself, and also the great book that Christian has put out as well. First, we're going to take a break with our sponsors. We'll be right back.
How does your small business stay top of mind with customers? From deals that bring them in with an offer, to social media promotions that turn fans into customers, to events that engage and create buzz, to emails that keep loyal customers coming back. Our easy-to-use tools will keep you in front of your customers.
Visita makes it easier for your business to get paid online. With Visita Live Site, your clients can pay for any service, invoice, or scheduled appointment right from your website, social network profile, or email. You can accept any credit card or PayPal, and funds will be deposited directly to your bank account or PayPal account at no extra charge. Easily add payment options to your site that fit your brand and website design and are fully supported on mobile devices. No technical skills are required.
Welcome back, everyone. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, and we also want to thank you, our viewers, for continuing to watch. Please continue to do so. Again, check us out on all our social media properties and engage. Give us your feedback. Give us your questions as well. Also, for our sponsors, for those of you who may be interested in sponsoring, you can go to That's My Biz at bizlinks.tv to reach out to us and get more information. We'd love to have you on board with That's My Biz and any of our other shows on BizLinks TV Network. Now, we're talking to our guest, Mr. Christian Tyler. Welcome again.
All right.
Now, good, and we're having a great conversation here. Now, he's with Master Christian Dog Training Academy, really getting into talking about some of you all at home with your dogs and what you're doing, what you might not be doing quite correctly. You're having challenges, you're wondering why you're having challenges. I think you might want to reach out to Christian and get things under control. Now, one thing I want to ask you, what's the hardest part of training, first, the dog, and then what's the hardest part of training the people?
The hardest part of training the dog is there's no hard parts to training the dog, because every breed, it's a dog, and we use a method. So we're going to go step by step on how fast the dog learns. Now, when we get to the people, people have some bad habits, and people don't listen. So they can listen to you when we're sitting here, but they always go home and do it the way they want to do it. And, you know, I try to teach my nieces and nephew about instruction and directions. If it didn't come with instructions, then you put it together how you want to. But men out here, I'm not going to say women, but lots of men out here have put tables and things together, bookcases together, and had to take them all the way back apart because one piece was off, because they never looked at the directions or instructions. So what I do is I make sure I give clear instructions on how to do it. And then when they call me later, after the dog is trained and they take it home, I listen. Because listening is a big part of what's going on. And without them telling me what they did wrong, because no one's ever going to tell you what they did wrong. And when they bring a dog, they're not going to tell you what's really wrong with it. But if you listen and know what you told them to do, they're going to tell you how they didn't do what you told them to do. So then my biggest call is, well, the dog did this and went over here and did this, and I just sit back and listen, and then I say, the dog did all of these things on leash when it got home?
On leash, I heard
and
that.
They say, you were serious about keep the dog on leash until it earns the right to be off leash? I'm absolutely serious, because this animal does not know how to exist in your home. Why would it? It's not going to pay your electric bill. It's not going to fix anything that breaks down. It'll bark if the doorbell rings. It's not going to get its own food. It's not going to get water. So all of these things that go on in its life is just like the fish in the tank. You need to clean the tank. You need to feed the fish. You need to get the light to come on. You need to make sure the filter is working. You need to make sure certain things are going on with the things in your care. And as a responsible human being, you decided to get that dog. Not everybody. Some dogs are pushed on people, but they still decide if they keep them or not. But as human beings, we have to do better. We have to pay attention. And if you're asking someone for information, please listen. They pay for information and then don't listen to it. But hey, I'd rather get paid for the information than someone not listening and just give it away for free.
I hear you. It's business, right?
Absolutely.
So now let me ask you, is there a difference in your training style based on the breed of the dog?
No. No.
Okay.
Each dog is a person, a different character. So you want to deal with the dog's character and how their learning curve is. You have to run some tests. You have to, you're constantly testing so you can figure out where the dog is at and how the dog is accepting the information. Some of them They spot on, pick it up real fast. Some of them a little slower, and then you have the stubborn ones. The stubborn ones you have to get creative with, because you still use the method and the confines of what you're doing, but you have to make subtle adjustments, because some dogs just like to shut down. When a dog shuts down, that means you have to turn up, because your energy dictates their energy. If they see that they can beat you by shutting down, then they're teaching you, and you're no longer in a position of authority. So I teach them how to not get angry and change their energy. Calm down and be a better person. So if this doesn't work, do something else and make your way back to this. Dealing with living things is 100%. If you know something's only going to work 50% of the time, throw it away and find things that work 100% of the time.
I like that. I mean, so see, not only are you getting great advice for just training your dog, you're also just getting great advice in general, right? Great life training. I mean, these are techniques that you can take anywhere. So now let me ask you, with your training academy, kind of take me through the process. So I come to you with my dog, or first reaching out to you and saying, I want to come and get my dog trained. So tell me some of the next steps. Are they individual? Is it group? Or how does it work?
It's individual, because we need to find out what your issues are. Not the dog's issue. What's your issues that you're experiencing? Because the dog is doing stuff to you. If the dog wasn't doing stuff to you, you wouldn't be calling, or you wouldn't have sought out a training company. So first and foremost, what's the dog doing? If the dog's not doing anything and you just need training, what are your training needs? What are your expectations that you want to get out of the dog? If the dog is doing things, those are called problems. We can problem solve those issues, and I can teach you how to be better with those after the dog is trained. But first and foremost, we have to find out, what are you expecting after dog training is done? What are your realistic expectations? And then I can tell you what we can do. Next, I'm going to give you a demonstration with a trained dog. I'm going to show you how the attention works, how the dog is looking at me and not being a robot looking at me. So they're also looking around, but they're paying attention to the human being, almost to the point where you don't have to call their name or any of that anymore. Their attention is locked to you unless something else moves. When you go too far, the dog turns into it's just walking next to you, and you don't really want that kind of attention, because still you need your dog to pick up people. You need it to see a person coming or see danger coming, and at least look at it and notify you. If your dog is paying too much attention to you, then they would miss something. So the first step is talking to you. The next step is giving you a demonstration, and then we figure out what you really want to get out of this dog. But while I'm talking to you, while me and my workers are talking to you, we're figuring out, what's your needs? What can we fix right now? Even if you don't get the dog training, what can I give you to make your life better with your dog? Now, I'm not going to give it all up to you, because most of the things, it's a process in learning. So I'm going to give you a good bit of information, because the more information I give you, the less you're going to take.
Well, so now, in talking about information, what a perfect segue. Talking about information, you have a new book that's out.
Oh, absolutely.
So please tell us about that.
Okay, My New Puppy. My New Puppy, I had to make something where you could read the information, because me telling you the information from the beginning to the end, like I said, I'll have to keep on repeating it to you. It doesn't resonate. You can't process it, but if you can go back and look it up. So what we did was, we started from the beginning. We started from the conception. Your son said he wants a dog. Now you go talk to your wife, or you go talk to your husband, or you start to make a decision. And in making that decision, first you want to figure out what kind of dog. What kind of dog fits your lifestyle. What are the habits and what's the temperament of the dog that you're going to get. A lot of people run out and get a dog because it's cute. They go for aesthetics. They want something that looks a certain way, that does, but that's not what it's about, because this is a living, breathing thing. There's an actual brain in there. So characteristics and how the dog is going to be are very important. Now, different breeds, they have breed standards. You can do your due diligence. You can research what kind of dog. You can actually go online and find people with these kind of dogs and ask them questions. You can ask breeders questions. You can ask veterinarians questions, and you can go find trainers and ask them questions. But you want to ask people questions that are dealing with the same kind of dog that you're trying to deal with.
Okay.
Not to say they're all the same, but they can give you a roundabout way to say whether it's going to fit into your house or not. Still, you never know if it's a good fit until it's there and you're fitting it. But if you do what I tell you to do in the beginning by putting the dog on leash when it enters the home, you can change some of those behaviors. So in the beginning, pick the dog, get all the information you can, and then decide with the family what's the right dog for you. So the book is a guide. It walks you through the steps of being happy. You want an animal, right? You want to be happy with that animal. You don't want to have to scream and holler. You don't want to hit. You don't want to use any form of fight or violence with your dog, which a lot of people do. And negative brings negative. Violence is violence. So any hitting would be violence. You want to create a relationship with your dog that it's your homeboy or homegirl. You wouldn't slap them, would you? So if you do,
or
they're not your friend. That is the part that people miss out on, because every time you hit your dog is supposed to attack you. It's an animal. But the dogs have been docile and domesticated, so that doesn't happen all the time. But then years down the line, you get somebody that says, well, the dog turned on me. No. You started a fight many years ago with your dog that is just now completing the circle. And it doesn't have to happen like that.
Wow. Now tell everyone how they can get your book.
The book will be available in maybe 3 weeks. We're pushing for it because we're making some last minute edits. It'll be available at masterchristian.com. And like I said, it's a guide. It's going to be something that you may know everything about dogs, but out of the people we tested, if you learn one thing that you didn't know that you can go back and find again, then I did my job. And it's in the things that's in the book, I believe that it's enough new things in there, and they're not new things, it's a lot of common sense, but it's things in there that are definitely going to help you with your decision on what kind of dog, what to do with the dog, and even down to take your dog to the vet. Your dog needs shots. As soon as you get a puppy, try to beat it to the vet right after you pick the puppy up. If not, the next day. Don't take your dog around and put your dog down and take it over to Pam's house and Gary's house and all these places without getting the shots. Because almost 100% of the time, if you do this, your dog will have parvo and it may die. So shots are simple. Immunizations are the easiest way to start your puppy off for a healthy life.
I love that. Some great information, great tips. So you all know you just must reach out to Christian. You have more questions, I'm sure you do. This was just to kind of get you going, get you interested and curious, but you definitely want to make sure that you reach out to him. I don't want to leave without asking you to share some of the results that you've gotten from working with the dogs and the owners.
100% smiley faces.
All right.
The dogs are balanced, and that's not to say every dog is going to perform the same. But when you give the owner a position of being in control, you can see the confidence build. And that's what we're doing. It's not about breaking things down, it's about building it up. And the more confidence you build in the owner, you can see it translated in the dog. We want happy, healthy, confident people and animals with a great line of communication.
Love that. With that, please tell everyone how they can get in touch with you and how they can find about your classes.
Like I said before, you can come to masterchristian.com and find us. We have videos. There's a contact on there. Or you can reach out to me in person. You can call 404-578-9232. That'll get to me. That'll get to somebody that can get to me. And then if you have problems that we can help you with at the time, we do give out some free information and tips. We try to help you before you come to the training because it might be something that you can fix on your own. But if you do need training, look for an expert. Don't just pay somebody because you get what you pay for. You want somebody that's able to teach you what you need to know so you can be the best dog owner and have the best dog that you ever had.
We love that. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. It's been real.
Great. Thanks so much.
It's a great show.
I've loved it because I love pets, so I love hearing all this information about it as well. So everyone, please make sure that you check out this episode again. Share it with your family and friends and your colleagues as well, especially any of those that you know you're hearing these buzzwords about them having some issues or concerns about their dog. Now you know where to tell them to go, but tell them to watch this episode first. You can see it again at www.bizlinks.tv. Also check us out on facebook.com/bizlinkstv. Give us some feedback. Let us know what challenges that you've had with your dog, and if you've done some training and what you got out of that as well. Also make sure you check us out at youtube.com/bizlinkstv. Go out there, make sure you give us some thumbs up. Don't forget that part of it, but also subscribe so that you can stay up to date on episodes as they are released. Check us out on all the other social media platforms as well. You'll find us at BizLinks TV. I'm Pamela Alexander, exposing your business to the world.